So Scarlet Spider didn't have much screen time at all in the new Spider-Verse film, but from what we did see, he had a pretty cool physique, and I'm going to be analysing that in this video and giving you my thoughts on how you can develop a similar physique. So from this first picture, what stands out is his shoulders, certainly. He has a nice V taper going on. You can see that V shape of his torso, the wide back and the small waist. He has pretty big upper arms and pretty big forearms too. And then in this similar angle, you can see, again, his upper arms and his forearms. In this next one, the arms really stand out. He's clearly shredded and he has massive biceps, really big triceps, shredded forearms, and his shoulders look really solid. And then in this picture, again, his shoulders, his arms, and also his legs look pretty good, especially the calves, because the way he's sitting, his calves kind of spread out against his thighs. And then this picture is from the comics, but it gives us a nice overview. You can see his calves look massive. His thighs aren't that big, especially compared to his calves. They really stand out. His arms are really big, his shoulders are good, and massive forearms. And then small waist. Chest we don't see, so that's not really important here. Glutes we don't really see, but I'm assuming they're quite small given the size of his upper legs. And then we know that he has a nice V taper from that first shot, so building the shoulder width and the back width is quite important, and keeping a small waist. So the most important features are definitely arms, shoulders, that V taper, having a low body fat percentage, being really shredded, and then also having some nice big calves as well, especially compared to the upper legs. So here's the program that I've designed mostly to help you get big arms and shoulders. On day one, we will start with overhead press. This is like the basic big front delt movement. I recommend use a barbell for this one. And then on day three, there's a dumbbell version of this same movement with slightly higher reps. So after overhead press on day one, you can do some barbell curls for your biceps. This is the main heavy bicep movement. I want to focus on increasing the weight and the reps on this one, and your biceps are guaranteed to grow as long as you keep performing the movement with good form. And then after that, you can hit the antagonistic muscle, the triceps, with some triceps push downs. I like to rotate back and forth between like pushing and pulling movements, so that my pushing muscles, for example, don't get tired out by doing like 3 pushing exercises in a row. And next up is heavy lateral raises. So I don't usually program heavy lateral raises, but I recently saw Derek from More Plates, More Dates talking about this as being one of the keys to building his massive delts. So I think if you mix in like heavy lateral raises and then maybe moderate weight and then very lightweight lateral raises with cables or something, that's probably going to give you the best results in terms of side delt gains, because you're covering like all the different levels of mechanical tension on the muscle, that being higher with heavy weights and lower with light weights, and also like the metabolic waste products that build up in the muscle from doing high reps, and there's not as many of those when you're doing low reps, so you're covering like all of the bases when it comes to hypertrophying the muscle. And then after that, also quite a heavy rep range doing dumbbell rear delt rows, where your arms are flared way out to the side and you're bent forward with dumbbells and you're squeezing your rear delts together to drive your elbows up behind your body. And then finishing off with some single leg calf raises, 4 sets to failure. Usually for me that's about 15 reps on each leg. And since you're going all the way to failure, it's hard to maintain like a consistent number of reps, so usually the reps will drop down with each set, and that's okay as long as you're pushing it close to failure. On day 2, starting with close grip bench press, mostly for the triceps, and this is quite heavy again. This is like the best tricep movement to try and get really strong at. This is the one that will allow you to overload the muscle the most, apply the most mechanical tension and weight to the triceps. So this is one that you want to focus on getting stronger at and really improving your performance in this movement. And then after that, you can do some barbell rows for the back to get that V taper. And after that, dumbbell lateral raises, so slightly lighter weight and higher reps this time. And then follow that up with bent over lateral raises with like the same weight if you can handle that. So that will cover your side delts and your rear delts. And then dumbbell curls for your biceps. And I like to do these seated because it prevents you swinging and using momentum to cheat the weight up. Requires like really strict use of just the biceps if you do it seated. And then finish off with some goblet squats. These are a really great movement, especially good if you haven't got the mobility yet to do proper barbell back squats. These will allow you to still get a really good leg workout in. Legs aren't so important for this physique, but he still has quite nice lean toned upper legs, although his calves are more important. Then day 3, we can do some dumbbell overhead press. This allows you to hit a slightly different angle of the front delt than barbell overhead press. The weight is going to be lighter and the reps are going to be a little bit higher, and you can get a slightly different like range of motion with these. After that, then cable curls. The best way to do these is grab the cable handle and then like turn away from it so the machine is behind you and your arm is behind your body, and then you curl up, bring your hand up towards your shoulder with your arm like behind your body, if that makes sense. So it's like your bicep is kind of stretched out behind you, and then you bring it up and you've got a really nice contraction at the top. There's a lot of tension on the muscle throughout the whole movement, and it's stretched at the bottom, which is really good. And we're going to do a lot of exercises at this cable station. Next, you can do overhead cable extensions, where you set the cable like down to the bottom position. You can use like a rope attachment or a handle, and then face away from the machine again and extend the handle like over your head. So you're extending your elbow, bringing the handle like behind your head, and then extending it back up over your head. I have a video demonstrating that. And while you're at the station, again, you can do cable lateral raises with even higher reps than the last two versions of the lateral raise, and then cable rear delt flies. I like to do these just one arm at a time, where you kind of face the machine, turn sideways, and then you bring the cable like across in front of you, keeping your arm kind of fixed so you're not flexing or extending your elbow much, but you're using just your rear delt to move your arm across your body. And then you can do 4 sets of pull-ups to failure, and then some seated calf raises. So ideally with calves, you want to have one like standing movement and then one seated movement, so you can hit the gastrocnemius muscle and the soleus muscle, which are the 2 muscles in the calves. On day 4, you can start with some lat pull downs to get that really wide back, and then skull crushers. I like to do them with dumbbells, or you can do them with like an easy bar or barbell for your triceps, and then hammer curls for your biceps, also your forearms and the brachialis muscle kind of on the side of your bicep. And then dumbbell lateral raises again. So we're doing lateral raises every day in this program because side delts and shoulders are so important, and equally important are rear delts. People often neglect rear delts, but they help with the wide appearance just as much as side delts do. So do not ignore rear delts, and I'm doing about as much rear delt work as side delt work. So we're hitting some machine reverse flies after those lateral raises, and then finishing off with a calf press. If you've seen my video on Toji's physique and you're interested in the complete guide to achieving Toji Fushigaro's physique, including a physique analysis and weightlifting or calisthenics training programs tailored to suit your needs and efficiently maximize muscle growth, check out the link at the top of the description. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. This is a bit of a different physique with more of a focus on the extremities, like the arms and the calves. And I've included some different exercises for that, like the heavy lateral raises, the cable curls, and all the calf stuff. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.